Contention. Critique. Conjecture. Conclusion.
The Huddle with corporate cars, saving you thousands on luxury European vehicles.
It is now 22:06. Josie Pagani is back from all her globe-trotting. And hello, Josie.
Hello, Larry.
Good to talk to you.
The minute I arrived in San Francisco, they started losing the America's Cup.
That's right. Cameron Slater from Whale Oil. Hello, Cam.
Hey, Larry. So it's all Josie's fault, is it?
Yeah.
And the government collapse. You can blame that on me too, if you want.
All right, Josie, we'll come to you first. Low turnout for the local body elections doesn't seem to be abnormal. Trend apparently is lower worldwide. They say that there was a lack of big political issues. See, I'm not sure about that. Christchurch certainly has some issues. Wellington does. Auckland, in Auckland, there's not the...
Berms, Larry.
Berms. No, but there might be the Berms, Cam, but there's the not insignificant debt ballooning to near $7 billion. Anyway, that's an issue, I think. Anyway, Josie, what do you see?
Well, I think I get sick of people whining about the low turnout as if somehow people are letting down everybody and not failing to do their civic duty. People vote if they have a good reason to and it's an issue they're into. And they don't vote. I think you're right, Larry. In Auckland and Christchurch in particular, there were big issues. But I think they thought, well, Len Brown's a shoo-in. He's going to get in. No, but the Nats haven't been able to beat him. They haven't put a candidate up that can beat him. There's no point. And in Christchurch, I think people thought, well, Leanne's the only real candidate. She'll get in. We want her in. We won't vote. So you can't say that the people who didn't vote would have voted against the person who won, if you know what I mean. I still think that, you can say that there's a strong mandate there, even though there was a low turnout.
It's hardly a mandate.
But you can't say that those that didn't vote wouldn't have voted for
really?
Let's say, Len Brown.
That's what the Green Party says on about asset sales. They say that, more parties voted against asset sales. You can't have the. But
that was a low turnout, Cam. That was last national election was a low turnout. So
you can't claim a mandate. Right, you can't claim a mandate for Len Brown.
You can't claim a mandate for the asset sales.
48% of a 33%.
No, hold on. Josie's right here, Cam. You can claim a mandate for the asset sales, but Mr. Brown can't claim a mandate? Come on.
Yes. Well, thank you, Larry.
Either way, we're both sunk, aren't we, on the claims of mandate?
We're either both sunk or we're both winning, so yeah.
I think there are massive issues here, though, Larry. Debt, as you pointed out, is a massive issue. We're currently paying more than $1 million a day in interest for Len Brown's borrowing. And why have we got that borrowing? Because he didn't want to ratchet the rates up far more than the 10% in some of the areas. And so he borrowed to fund the shortfall for all sorts of stupid projects. And the borrowing's only going to get worse. He wants to borrow another $2.5 billion for a silly little train set that no one's going to take.
But Ken, you guys are supporting that. I mean, the national government is going to come in and pay 50%.
I'm not supporting it. I don't believe in subsidies for anything, including public transport.
Well, you're the Tea Party version of the National Party, true. But, I mean, basically, look, the reason that Len Brown is borrowing, and yes, there are certainly issues about those salaries, which are way too high, and there's a lot that can be done to trim that budget.
That's small change at the end of the day, Josie, those salaries, because let's take the chief executive. He earns $800,000. Let's say Len gives him a haircut of $200K. How far is that going to go? They won't even pay the interest bill till
No, I agree with that. It can only be a haircut. But the point is, he's borrowing to build a city, isn't he? So if you're saying he's not going to, let's not build the roads, let's not build the trains, let's not invest in the city, let's not invest in housing.
He's not investing in housing. He's not investing in the city. He's building legacy projects so he can feel good and leaving us with the bills.
Okay. Look, sorry, Josie, got to go. We'll come back in a moment. Cameron Slater and Josie Pagani. It is now 15-6.
Larry Williams Drive with the new ANZ, the bank that gives you more.
Back on the Huddle with Josie Pagani and Cameron Slater. Just before we leave the local body elections, Josie, Celia Wade-Brown, there was a lot of discontent with the council. What do you see in this? Is this a surprise?
I was surprised by that, actually, Larry. It was close. John Morrison came quite close, but I thought it would be even closer, actually. And I'm surprised that there was what the Greens are calling a green slide there. Yeah, I mean, I'm not quite sure, except to say that I think there wasn't enough of alternative candidates really that were serious. Nicola Young didn't do that well in the mayoral campaign either. There was
John
just no
Morrison
one
could well have won if he'd actually bothered to campaign properly.
Right. He didn't campaign properly?
Didn't get out there and get around and talk to people, and you have to do that in local body election. You have to knock on doors. That's how you win.
I mean, the interesting thing is that if there's talk of a super city, which there will be in the coming sort of year, I think Wade Brown would find it very hard to pitch herself as the potential Len Brown of this region, because the Hutt and Kapiti Coast and the like don't want a Wellington there.
Don't do it.
Leanne Dalzell, massive victory, and we'll see what TAC Christchurch takes.
Harry Dynhoven.
She will be a good mayor. I think she'll be a good mayor, yeah.
I was surprised at Harry Dynhoven getting completely smashed. There were a few surprises in the local elections, actually.
Can we move on, Cameron? Issue number 2. The lobby group for the savings and insurance industry wants the government to cut the annual KiwiSaver subsidy and use the money to reduce the tax rates on the scheme in a bid to boost retirement savings. I think this makes some sense. What do you say?
Well, you know me, Larry, always against subsidies of any kind. And I think if we can get rid of the subsidies and lower taxes at the same time, I think that's a damn fine idea that needs to be implemented.
I have to be against it now.
$740 million in subsidies a year in KiwiSaver. I think that's better to go and do. I mean, we're taxed too high on our super savings, Josie, don't you think?
Yes, I agree with that. I mean, I think the problem, though, if you're going to shift from getting rid of the subsidy, the $1,000 subsidy or whatever it is now from the government, and say you're going to reduce taxes and over time that will be the same, except that's not the same if you're not able to save very much. So if you can't afford to save very much, then the subsidy you're getting...
You're saving it out of your wages before you get it.
Let me finish. The subsidy you'll get from removing the tax on your savings won't be the same as that subsidy. And I think most people will go, give me the cash.
Cameron, quick word, US shutdown fiasco. Do you think this will get dealt to in the next few days?
Of course not. Politicians will never deal with it.
Really?
They just raise the ceiling like they always have. This happened 4 years ago or 3 years ago. I can remember there was this great shutdown. Everyone talked about it. We'll solve the problem. Well, their solving of the problem is lifting up the lumpy carpet, sweeping all the bad stuff under it, putting the carpet down, and then raising the ceiling to cope with the lumps that they're standing on.
No, I disagree with that. I think they'll find a compromise, Larry. I think they'll do something like remove the tax on medical devices, which is a weird little tax that was going to fund Obamacare. They'll do something so the Republicans can save face and the Democrats can get on with it and get rid of these political vandals.
Thank you, Josie. Josie Pagani and Cameron Slater on the Huddle. Murray Deaker is next. It's now 9 to 6.